He stands on a small wooden bridge, the damp air clinging to his red cloak. The sky above is a canvas of muted gray, threatening a cold winter rain. His horse, a powerful war stallion, snorts impatiently, its breath a white cloud in the chill. Around him, the silent figures of his legionaries stand at ease, their weathered faces turned towards him, waiting. They are tired from years of campaigning, their armor dented and their spirits hardened. But their loyalty is absolute. He looks down at the water flowing beneath the bridge. The river is small, hardly a significant natural barrier, a shallow stream called the Rubicon. But this river is more than water. It is a line drawn in the sand of Roman law, a symbol of profound consequence. It marks the boundary between his province and the heart of the Republic. It marks a choice from which there is no return. He could turn back. He could obey the Senate's decree, disband his loyal army, and return to Rome as a private citizen, vulnerable to the political machinations of his enemies. Or he can cross. Finally, he urges his horse forward. The die is cast. Gaius Julius Caesar was born in the year 100 BC into a city already ancient and powerful. He belonged to the Julian clan, a patrician family that traced its lineage back to the goddess Venus, yet his family was not wealthy or dominant in the cutthroat politics of the late Republic. Rome was a place of stark contrasts, immense wealth and crushing poverty, ruled by a handful of jealous families. For a young man like Caesar, ambition meant survival. He mastered rhetoric, the key to swaying the forum and influencing the Senate. He learned to write with clarity and force, a skill he would use to craft his own legend. He watched Marius and Sulla, learning from both triumph and terror. He saw how battlefield victories translated into political might, and how quickly it could be lost. Caesar served in Asia Minor, where courage in battle won him the civic crown. He charmed rankers and commanders alike, earning respect and loyalty. He used marriage to forge powerful alliances, even if it set him against Sulla. Captured by pirates, he joked, demanded a higher ransom for himself, and promised to crucify them when free. He kept his word. Audacious, utterly self-confident, ruthlessly determined, the man he intended to become. Returning to Rome, Caesar began his ascent up the cursus honorum, the ladder of offices. Elections, games, and bribes devoured money. He plunged into crippling debt. He borrowed vast sums from Marcus Licinius Crassus, betting everything on victory. He hosted lavish spectacles and spoke magnificently, becoming a hero of the common people. The conservative senators saw a dangerous demagogue. Rome was unstable. Violence roiled the streets and plots thrived in shadow. More than once, his ambition nearly cost him his life. In Spain, he governed, campaigned, and amassed a fortune from spoils. He paid his creditors and returned with wealth and prestige, ready for more. Elected Pontifex Maximus, he gained lifelong religious authority and a house in the Forum. More crucially, he acquired protection from prosecution, a masterful stroke. No longer a promising scion, now a player at the center of power, Caesar brokered a pact with Pompey the Great and the wealthy Crassus, the first triumvirate. As consul, he rammed through their agenda: land for Pompey's men and financial reforms for Crassus's allies. Aggressive, legally dubious, but effective. Then came his true arena, a 5-year command in Gaul. The governorship of Gaul was the crucible in which Caesar the politician was forged into Caesar the legendary commander. The territory, roughly modern France, Belgium, and beyond, was a patchwork of Celtic and Germanic tribes. From 58 to 50 BC, he waged relentless, brilliant, and brutal campaigns. 58 to 50 BC, the Gallic Wars. He fought the Helvetii in the Alps, the Belgae in the north, the Aquitani in the southwest. A master of logistics, he moved legions with astonishing speed. A brilliant engineer, bridges, siege works, and the famous double ring around Alesia. A superb tactician who read the flow of battle and intervened decisively. He led from the front, sharing the hardships of his men. His soldiers would follow him anywhere. He mastered propaganda, sending lucid dispatches, later the Commentarii de Bello Gallico. Clear, direct, seemingly objective, yet carefully crafted to magnify achievement. He kept his name ever in the public eye. The wars were incredibly bloody, millions killed or enslaved. Caesar was ruthless when needed, breaking wills through fear. By the end, he had subdued vast new lands, added them to Rome, and amassed immense wealth. Most importantly, he forged a fanatically loyal army. But with Crassus dead and Pompey allied to the Senate, fear of Caesar grew in Rome. Now we return to the quiet, gray morning on the banks of the Rubicon. The years in Gaul have transformed him. The Senate issues an ultimatum: relinquish command, disband the legions, return as a private citizen. He knows it's a trap. Return, and they will prosecute him for past acts and ruin him. To comply is to accept destruction, glory, wealth, power stripped away. The choice is stark: comply or defy. His soldiers know what this means. Their fortunes are tied to him, land and pensions at stake. They marched through scorching summers and freezing winters, from German forests to Britain's shores. Their loyalty is to the man who bled with them and led them to victory. He hesitates, only a moment. Alea iacta est, the die is cast. He spurs into the current, his legions follow. The crossing of the Rubicon, irreversible rebellion. The civil war has begun. The war ranged across the Roman world, Spain to Egypt and beyond. Caesar seized Italy in weeks, practicing calculated clemency. While Pompey gathered strength, Caesar struck first in Spain, defeating veteran armies and securing his rear. The showdown came at Pharsalus in 48 BC. Pompey outnumbered him in men and horse. But Caesar's were hardened veterans, and he the better general. Anticipating Pompey's cavalry, he concealed elite infantry to strike. The trap sprang. Pompey's flank collapsed. Pompey fled in disgrace, bound for Egypt. Egyptian rulers murdered him on arrival and offered his head to Caesar. Caesar wept. He sided with Cleopatra, secured her throne, and began a legendary affair. From Egypt through Anatolia, I came, I saw, I conquered. He crushed the last resistance. He returned undisputed master of the Roman world. The old republic was effectively dead. In its place stood one man. The Senate, packed with supporters, named him Dictator for life, supreme in war and peace. In all but name, a king, repugnant to Roman tradition. He worked furiously, building, employing, stabilizing a battered state. He settled veterans across new colonies, paying promised dues. He reformed the calendar. Our Julian model endures with slight changes. He broadened citizenship and pardoned foes to heal civil wounds. He checked elite excess and relieved debtors. He dreamed beyond Rome, a codified law, grand works, vengeance against Parthia. Yet his honors and power stoked dread among old aristocrats. Led by Cassius and Brutus, they whispered he aimed to be king. They formed a conspiracy to kill the tyrant and restore the republic. The conspiracy came to a head on the Ides of March 15th, 44 BC. Despite ill omens and his wife Calpurnia's warnings, he went to the Senate. The conspirators approached with a petition, then struck. One after another, they stabbed him. Overwhelmed, he fell at Pompey's statue. Et tu, brute! Whether spoken or not, the legend captures the sting of betrayal. He was dead. They claimed to free Rome, but unleashed another, worse civil war. At Caesar's funeral, Mark Antony's eulogy turned grief to rage. The conspirators fled. In his will, Caesar adopted his grandnephew Octavian as heir. Joined with Antony, he hunted the assassins, then outmaneuvered all rivals. Octavian emerged Augustus, Rome's first emperor, completing the transformation Caesar began. Caesar's legacy is immense and complex. He ended the Republic by ambition or inevitability, and paved the way for long imperial peace. His name became a byword for power: Kaiser, Tsar. His strategies are still studied, his writings remain classics. His life marks a turning point, proof that one person can alter civilization. A timeless drama of power, ambition, betrayal, and the struggle between liberty and order.